All right, y'all, what is up and welcome back. So tonight we got a shocking video for you. Actually, we got a video of a Lyft driver that was caught groping one of his passengers, a young lady that he was walking to the front door while she was, I gotta say, highly intoxicated. And he looked at the camera and copped a couple feels before he helped her get into the house. Now, there was also a news article about this. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play the news story first, and then I'm gonna talk about it. Let's go.
A rideshare driver appears to be groping his passenger's breasts as he helps her to her front door. Her purse is draped around her neck, and you can hear her dog barking inside her house as she slurs her words.
Are you an Uber driver?
He put his hands around her waist.
What company?
Oh, Lyft.
Lyft?
Yes, yeah. I want to make sure you get home safely.
Now the woman who says she was groped is speaking out.
It's disgusting. I was so intoxicated. I was falling over. And to know that someone would take advantage of someone in that state, it's unimaginable.
Lauren Christensen says she was heading home after a night out with friends in Dallas.
Just had the most amazing night. There's a lot of drinks involved.
So her friend ordered a Lyft to take her home. She never imagined she would get groped.
Did you remember the driver grabbing you like that? Did you have any recollection of that?
Not at all.
Unsteady on her feet, Lauren tries to open the door.
Here, no. You're putting it the wrong way.
The Lyft driver didn't park his car outside of Lauren's house. He actually parked it down the street. One of Lauren's neighbors went outside to check out the suspicious car and heard the commotion on Lauren's front porch and went to see if everything was okay.
Steve, I love you so. You're right here.
All right, and that's the video. So first thing I want to say is this young lady is lucky to be alive, because if you look at the facts, you look at how this guy parked down the street, not in front of her house. That guy was planning on doing something, y'all. That guy was planning on making this young lady disappear. Okay, those are the signs of someone who is trying to hide their tracks. All right, and you saw how he looked at the camera. He looked at the camera like, damn, she got a camera. But what kind of lesson do we learn from this? First off, we learn that women, please do not get sloppy drunk out there. I don't care how many friends you with. I don't care how much you turning up. You have to watch the amount of liquor you're consuming. If you are not in your right mind when you're consuming liquor, you need to dumb it down to a minimum. Secondly, those friends, I'm going to say, were not good friends, because one thing I wouldn't do, I wouldn't trust a woman by herself in an Uber or a Lyft by herself, because anybody can be in an Uber or a Lyft, just like anybody can be a DoorDasher. Anybody can download these rideshare apps and do whatever. I know they have background checks and stuff like that, but y'all got to realize there are so many loopholes to these background checks. A lot of these people that are DoorDashing and Lyft and Ubering or whatever, these people are using other people's information, guys. They're using other people's information, okay? And then they're getting approved to do these rideshare apps, and there's so many people doing the apps. Uber, Lyft, and all these companies, they can't catch these people. They don't have somebody just thumbing through all the drivers, spot checking them and calling them and giving them interviews, in-person interviews. It doesn't work like that. So you have to keep in mind that when you do order someone a Lyft or a rideshare or whatever, this person could potentially be dangerous. That's just the type of world we live in. So I'm going to say L to the friends for letting her get in that Lyft alone. L to Lyft for not doing a background check on this guy. And of course, L to the young lady as well. And don't get me wrong, this is not victim blaming at all, but L to the young lady for letting herself get that sloppy drunk. As a woman, you have to be about your wits. Sometimes it's okay for men to get sloppy drunk, because at the end of the day, you can still defend yourself to a certain degree when you're drunk as a man. But as a woman, you have no defense. I mean, you basically have no defense when you're not drunk. So when you're drunk, it just adds injury to insult. It just leaves you completely and utterly helpless and able to just get ran over by anybody and anything. So you got to be careful with that. But there's a bunch of lessons, like I said, to be learned from this video. You saw the facts. You saw the guy park down the house. You saw the guy look into the camera as he was groping that chick. I mean, what is that? What do you think he was going to do if that neighbor hadn't have showed up? That neighbor was an angel. That neighbor was a guardian angel. That's why that lady said, yo, I love you so much. Please, I love you so much. I mean, if it wasn't for him, I guarantee you this lady would have had way more trouble than just getting groped. But I think they're going to bring up criminal charges on this guy. I know he's going to lose his Lyft account or whatever. He's not going to be able to do rideshare anymore. Or he probably will still be doing rideshare after this, because guess what? He's just going to use somebody else's information and he's going to re-download the app and he's going to get back into the system and keep making money, because that's how it goes. But that neighbor definitely saved her life. And she should get new friends. I'm going to be honest with you. She should get new friends, because I don't know who would trust a sloppy, drunk woman by herself in an Uber with a stranger at that. But this is the advice to women. When you go out, okay, especially if you're going out with friends, make sure not only that you're minding the alcohol that you're drinking, but that you have a safe way to get home. Uber and Lyft are not always going to be the best options, especially if you plan on riding by yourself. All right. I know a lot of people like to say, oh, you can just order an Uber and a Lyft if you get too drunk. Yeah, but that's still a risk at the end of the day. It's better to have somebody that you trust, maybe one of your girlfriends or something like that. You know, have a DD in that group. I know a lot of women that don't separate. I mean, I've gone clubbing a lot, and I know for a fact a lot of women, they don't separate. There is no, oh, you go home with him and I'll go do this and I'll go do that. No, they stay together till the end of the night, until you get to your house safe and sound. Y'all don't break up that group. And to be honest with you, that's the safest way to do it. All right, this is America, y'all. We have so much kidnapping, human trafficking. We have all this stuff that's going on, okay? People are riding around in white vans waiting to snatch y'all. And some of these people that ride around in those white vans, guess what? They found a shortcut. You know what that shortcut is? Doing Uber and Lyft at 3 o'clock in the morning. Because all they got to do is end the thing and say, oh, I dropped her off at home. And guess what? Swipe or no swiping. They can come get you off the front porch, throw you in that van, and that's all she wrote. A lot of y'all are not too heavy to carry, trust me, especially for a grown man. Grown man can just carry 300 pounds like it's nothing. So even the big chicks, don't get me wrong, y'all may get kidnapped at a less rate, but y'all still at risk for being kidnapped. So don't think y'all exempt from this. But y'all got to be safe. Like I said, when you go to a bar or a club or an establishment, you as a woman need to have ground rules with your friends. All right. Nobody separates. And I say this from a standpoint of someone who wants people to get home safe. Okay. I don't have kids, but one day I'm going to have a daughter. Maybe she's going to go out to a bar or a club or something like that. And I'm going to have to tell her these same words. You do not separate from your friends. I don't care how much in love you fall, with some random guy in the club, and you want to go to an after hour spot and separate from them and go here and there. You don't do that. That's not something you do, because you're trusting them with your life at this point. It's 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Anything can happen. A lot of people not even going to be able to hear you scream at that time of night. Everybody's asleep. There are no cars on the road. Okay, this is the time that all this crazy evilness happens. And like I said, thank God for the neighbor, because if it wasn't for him, we may have never even seen this story. This story may have never even seen the light of day. Okay, because I'm pretty sure when that guy saw the camera, he probably would have went and wiped all the data from her phone. It looked like it may have been a Ring camera, so it would have been easy for him to access that data within her phone after doing whatever he needed to do to her and kidnapping her and wiping that data clean, removing the camera. And the last anyone has ever heard of her was some guy dropping her off in a Lyft at the house. So he could have made up any story. Oh, she started walking down the street. She started doing this. She was drunk, right? So they can say anything. And to my fellas, all right, and this is coming from a guy who has partied a lot. There's one rule when you go out to these clubs, bars: no sex with drunk chicks. Drunk chicks cannot give consent. But anyway, what do y'all think about this? Do y'all think this guy should go to jail? And if so, for how long? And do y'all think it's a 3-party fault here? Like I'm saying, like, it's her fault for being that sloppy drunk. It's her friend's fault for sending her out in an Uber alone. And of course, it's the Uber driver's fault for being a Herbert the pervert and being creepy and groping this chick while she's at her front door. It's loser activity on his part, definitely. But What do y'all think about this? All right, I want to know. Make sure you write a comment if you like what you see. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, I'll see y'all next time. Peace.